He is a former college quarterback, former college coach, and currently he is a college football analyst for CBS Sports. The popular Rick Neuheisel is joining us on the program. Rick, your reaction to the news yesterday that 12-team playoff is not a question of if, but when?
I'm in that choir singing hallelujah, hallelujah. we need this. And this is not Alabama or Ohio State or Clemson's fault. All they did was rise to the top of college football, and they had a stranglehold on it because every recruit wanted to be a part of the college football playoff. And those were the three places, along with Oklahoma, I guess, but they never won one of the games, that you'd go if you wanted to be in it. And, I think it was time that we changed the format that allows a little bit more inclusion for other places, especially when schedules are not alike. We've got two conferences amongst the Power Five that still are only playing 8 conference games. So if you're not going to have at least some measure of equality from the scheduling standpoint, then probably we need more spots. And what you just talked about in terms of what it means financially, you're going from 3 games in the college playoff format now to 11 games. The 4 play-in, the quarterfinal games, and then the 3 that we've already got. Maybe not changing who's ultimately going to lift the trophy, but certainly give more in the world of college football a bite at the apple.
Any downside to this?
The only thing that I'm sitting here going, is this a move towards better scheduled games in the regular season? And I'm not sure that it does that. I don't think we've now put more onus on, the Alabamas of the world to, travel to Los Angeles to play USC. I think that the one-off games are still going to be where they'll go. That money game like they've got with Miami to start the season in Atlanta this year. I don't think we've done anything to force the issue to get the home games going, although there is a lot of those on the books in advanced years. So fingers crossed that we'll get there because the college football fan deserves that.
Well, what about Notre Dame? Notre Dame is not going to be in the top 4. They're
right.
not in a conference here.
And yet Jack Swarbuck was on this.
I know. Their athletic director. So I don't does this push Notre Dame to join the ACC now?
And maybe Jack Swarbuck secretly is hoping that's exactly what it will do. I mean, you can't have looked at last year's year, the one-off time in the ACC, and say that was unsuccessful for Notre Dame. That was absolutely a great year for Notre Dame, and the fact that they were in that league, I think, helped them get to a place where they were going to be part of the college football playoff. They were absolutely going to be there, and, to play an ACC schedule, a Power 5 schedule, I think helped them in some ways. Now, I know they've got a modus operandi where they want to travel far and wide, touch each portion of the country in the Notre Dame mission. But ultimately, maybe this is exactly what pushes them over the edge and gets them in the ACC.
And I know that we have a lot of blowouts. There's going to be blowouts because there's a big difference between Clemson, Alabama, and Indiana or Coastal Carolina. Are you okay with that? That the optics of this is going to be, oh, you know what? Why are we having these games? These are blowouts and kind of embarrassing the playoffs.
I'm thrilled that we've, now got a surety that the group of 5 is going to be included. At least one group of 5 champion will be in the hunt for this. And to start college football seasons as we have in the past with really no chance, 0 chance, as Dean Wormer has once said, 0.0. When you have a season that starts that way, something's wrong with the system. So now we've got at least one, the potential for 2, should a conference champion come from the Power 5 that wasn't up to snuff. But ultimately, that's all good news. I don't worry so much about those blowout games. When great teams, are on the field, that happens. It happens in the NFL. periodically, and it will happen again in this. But I remember back that Georgia-Oklahoma game in the Rose Bowl, the overtime thriller. I said, we're going to have more chances at that, because what will happen over a period of years as this begins is there will be more spreading of the great players, the great talent in the United States. They won't all just go to the top three places, but knowing that there are more chances to get to the playoff, maybe closer to home.
Yeah, I liken it to Gonzaga, because Gonzaga used to be a novelty in basketball. And, they would be like, oh, that's a cute story, Gonzaga. Now Gonzaga is getting some of the top recruits in the country, and a lot of that is they got an opportunity. If the field was 32, as it used to be a long, long time ago, you would have a lot of these programs who would never get this opportunity to grow their program. Indiana, being on a national stage with their football program, I thought I would never see that in my lifetime. Coastal Carolina, they would make the playoffs. And I like that it gives you an opportunity to be seen by more people, because we wouldn't have seen the Indiana story this year, or Coastal Carolina. Boise State wouldn't exist. I think having that opportunity where you get to play against the big boys, and, that opportunity for players to see or recruits to see you play, I think it's a benefit for these smaller schools that would they would be dwarfed by Alabama and Clemson, and they may still be, but you just want to be in the conversation. That's it. Give me a seat at the table. It can be a bad seat. It can be an obstructed view. Just give me a seat at the table.
Your Gonzaga example is a perfect one. Butler is another example, right? The Gordon Hayward shot off the glass that, everybody's still gasping, wondering how it didn't go in. Those moments now can be part of college football. I don't know that we're going to see an Appalachian State knock off Michigan in the college football playoff as we did in the Big House, but it's possible. And now when you have that possibility and you can sit down in the living room and talk about that possibility, it's much easier for that young man to say, you know what, I'm going to stay close to home here in Boone, North Carolina, or here in Cincinnati, Ohio, or Boise, Idaho, and I'm going to be a part of this program because I want to be the first ones to take them to the college football playoff. That's going to be exciting for those particular brands.
Rick, we're sorry we let you down. You did a great song for the Emmy night, and we're losers. I mean, it was a powerful, powerful song that you gave us, and maybe you could win a Grammy before we win an Emmy. But just want to thank you again for putting that together.
I love the Dan Patrick Show. I know I speak for millions when I say that, and your day's coming. You too will be Susan Lucci, who will finally climb the final step and don the giant challenge.
Thank you, Rick. Thank you. We appreciate it. Have a great weekend. That's Rick Neuheisel, CBS Sports College Football analyst.